Hello, everyone, and welcome to Darlington, South Carolina, the virtual track Too Tough to Tame. It's Mark, and it's Sam, and what does that mean? It means it's an American Motorsports Association Thursday night, the Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series, on for 147 laps here at the Lady in Black. And Sam, this is one of my favorite tracks to come to. I don't know about you. It is an absolute delight to see this place in person. And I'm sure that you probably would say it's an absolute delight to race it.
There's no question that I would tell you that 9.8 times out of 10. Top 3 tracks on my list of favorite tracks to race at. It's exciting. It's unpredictable. It is drivable, but it makes you get up on the wheel, and it's just a lot of fun. To me, it's a challenge, and I don't mind a challenge when it comes to certain ovals, and this is one of those ovals. And so I would agree with you 100% that Darlington is a NASCAR treasure, and it will always remain one in my heart.
You know it is. I came to a Southern 500 here, probably a long time ago for some of our drivers. Most of them weren't born yet, but I've been here. I know you've been here, Sam. This track is very, very, very unique. It is very difficult. The surface of the Darlington Raceway is more or less made out of 40 grit sandpaper. And so if you hear the question, will drivers take tires? The answer is yes, even if they've only been out on the current set under caution. They will want tires. One end of the track is much more narrow than the other, and so you'll see cars have particular trouble coming off of turn 2 now. That is the old turn 4. If you look in the background, Sam, you see those grandstands back there with the Goodyear billboards on them? What did that used to be?
There's what out behind there?
Well, that particular stand right there that you see with the Goodyear ad on it, the Earnhardt Towers, that's the old Winston Tower. That used to be turns number 1 and 2 here.
Of course, yeah.
That famous shot that everybody sees.
You had already said that, so I didn't know what you wanted.
Yeah, that famous shot that everybody sees of Bill Elliott coming down the main straight to win the Winston Million with the people waving their hats.
Yeah, that shot right there shows you right behind there is Highway 52, and you're right. That used to be turn 1.
It most certainly is. There's Highway 52 that Sam was talking about. With the Talladega Superspeedway billboard on the background. Right now, we've got about 50 seconds left
before we head into qualifying.
Yep, Greg Evans.
No, I thought you were already asking about when you said that. I thought you were already asking about the pond, and so I thought, man, he's getting into that early.
We've got a long time to get into Harold Braxton's fishing habits tonight.
I didn't know if old Ramsey's pond was already coming up into the discussion or not.
Well, we can talk about it here if you'd like to, Sam. I'm more than. When you were asking, I didn't realize you were just talking about the configuration, but I thought you were talking about the fact of that each end of the racetrack is geometrically different. One end of the racetrack is much more narrow in its bendature, and so the reason for that is because during the early construction that Brazington had started, when he started clearing for the track, he was using a man's property that was a good friend of his named Ramsey. And so when Ramsey saw that the construction was so extensive, there was a pond there that he loved fishing in, and he went out and he told Brazington, he says, you can cut all you want, but don't get near my pond. So he had to narrow up the corners in order to avoid disturbing any of Ramsey's his favorite fishing hole. He most certainly did, and that's why turns number 1 and 2 are much more sharp than turns 3 and 4 on the track right now. We're looking at Logan Edwards. He's going to be the first car out onto the Darlington Raceway and attempt a qualifying effort.
we're gonna follow him around. Just get on the roll bar and see what's what with the number 86 machine. You run this track, Sam, very close to the wall on entry. You almost kind of want to cut it down low on apex and then let it drift out at corner exit. But you better watch out for the wall because it'll bite you on exit here.
This place is notorious for the Darlington stripe, and I don't know that there's many racers I don't know any racer that can say that they've raced this racetrack and not flirted with that wall and came out with the souvenir, so to speak, of a strike. You're right. It is. If people thought that what Kyle Larson was doing at Homestead is something, then you need to watch carefully because the majority of the field is going to be doing it here at Darlington.
Yeah, it's the Darlington stripe actually comes from back in the 50s and 60s. It was just an Armco barrier around here, the stainless steel polished Armco, and the fast way around was actually to lay the right side up against that wall, and it would make a stripe as Logan Edwards goes to the top of the board. Let's see, who else do we have available? Let's take a look down the line. We've got Greg Evans. He is getting ready to. He is out in the Freightliner machine.
Green flag.
Yeah, just got it. So let's. This is a shoe right here. We're going to show Ryan O'Donohue. Ryan has not. We missed him. Kyle Heath goes to the top of the board, but I got money on this guy for the pole here. Greg Evans is quick at this joint, Sam.
Greg Evans has got a lot of experience here. I've raced with Greg on several occasions, and he is impressive for sure at this particular racetrack. But there's a lot of great drivers here. Kyle Heath proved that last week when he pulled out the win at Martinsville, and the competition is fast and furious in the AMA. So Greg is fast on the first lap, but we'll have to wait and see what the rest of the field does.
Well, here he is. He's coming through turns 3 and 4 on his second lap.
Look at that low line.
Yes,
that's definitely a qualifying line. Oh, he got loose. He got really loose there off 4. This is going to be considerably slower.
He did. Second lap for Greg Evans, 29.531. It was slightly faster, Sam. That puts him on the provisional pole. We've got about a minute 35 left. Just to give our fans a rundown of the rules tonight, we're going to have stage breaks at lap 45 and lap number 90. It's 147 laps total, roughly 201 miles. We'll show Brian Sharp here in his qualifying run. Make sure that he avoids those trees. But 147 laps total, stages 45 and 90. One of the things that I'm interested to note, Sam, did Kendale in the administration group set a tire limit for this race? You're able to check it. I cannot, but they did not.
Yeah, there is a tire limit in the race. Yes, sir. That's a great question, Mark. And there is a tire limit in this race with one set on the car, of course, and then they have 5 extra sets after that. For this amount of laps, and Brian Sharp does catch the wall on his first lap. For this particular race, I would say that should be more than enough tires to complete and have drivers make some in race calls to try and make up track position or strategies or things like that. It gives the driver some options, in my opinion, just depending on how the race unfolds and what's going to happen with the cautions. And then, of course, the stage breaks. With that many sets of tires, you may see some drivers that are going to take the gamble, especially if they want to keep pace with some of the faster cars that are up front. They'll be able to make up some track time. They'll also be able to make up some positions if they short pit. It's just going to really give them a lot of options with the five extra sets of tires.
There you go, and that was going to be my next question. And speaking of the lineup here tonight, Sam, we've got a good one on the pole. Greg Evans, he's going to turn his fast lap 159.829 miles an hour, 159.664. That's Kyle Heath, the perennial challenger. He's on the outside of the front row. Logan Edwards is going to go third. He'll be flanked by Ryan O'Donohue, Josh Siegfried, and James Hodgson round out row number 3. Jeffrey Height, Kendall Paul, Dylan Godness, and J.D. Daniels are the remainder of your top 10. In
There's
11,
actually an Adam O'Brien sighting back in the field this week.
Nolan Milnes is going to go 11th. Jason Heaney 12th. Justin Osterman will be 13th. He'll have Troy Carricker to his outside. Eric Corder, Lee Campbell, Michael Moquin, Trevor Benz, Corey Crandall, and Sean Merriman. They're going to round out the top 20, and we have another massive field here. Sam, because we've got we're getting into the 30s now. John Hutchins, there's your Adam O'Brien sighting. He goes 22nd. Joseph Klein, 23rd.
33 drivers, yeah.
Edwin James, Jonathan Wiley, 24th and 25th. Keith Graham, Donald Green, Paul French, Colby Pierce, and Ted Craven back to 30th. 31st, Brian Sharp. Sean Mott is going to start 32nd. Keith Ayers will roll 33rd and last. Track conditions here, 78 degrees in the air, 102 on the track. Winds are 12 miles an hour out of the west. And so we're looking at some pretty doggone good conditions here too, Sam, as the field rolls away.
Oh, yes. No, and that 102 track temperature, that's actually going to affect the car as far as the loose condition gets, especially early in the run. The car will probably tighten up as the run goes. But on cold tires and those first few laps, the car will probably be a little skatey on these drivers when they're coming off of turn 2 and turn 4.
And speaking of excellence, another absolutely wonderful group watching us tonight. We've got Donald Green in the house. He's out on the track. His wonderful wife Katie is with us. Narkbrain, we've got him. He's excited. That's Logan Edwards. He's excited for his first race in '96, and of course Mike Rigney will join us.
I thought he was new to the roster tonight. That's good.
He is. That's an open wheel shoe. Logan Edwards. He's a doggone good IndyCar driver.
There's a lot of representation here.
Yeah, green flag is out, my friend. We are underway. Greg Evans, he's going to load him off into turn number 1, and we are racing here at Darlington. Lap 1 of 147 already.
We got one in the wall already. A couple of cars already getting their stripes early. That first start is always difficult, just simply because you want to give room, but you also want to make up as much time as you can. So it can be a little troublesome, to say the least. And we've got one car that's slowing really.
Oh, we've got him in the wall. That's Jason.
Stretch. He's in the wall. He's back
Jason
and forth.
Heaney.
He
Now
could
we've
not
got trouble.
collect it. He tried so hard to save it. He could not collect it, and then the whole field comes up behind him. It was the 77 of Eric Corder, and he got so loose in 3 and 4, and once he got off of 4, it was all he could do to save that car. He gets a little hit from behind, and then he's back into the wall, and he bounces back and forth, and then it just collects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10 to 12 drivers in the back of the field. Keith Graham with significant damage. A lot of cars are hurt badly here.
Yes, there are. I'm looking
at Edwin James is no hood on the car.
Yeah, I'm looking. There
Donald
you see
Green. Donald Green is involved. Jonathan Wiley. Wow.
There you see it. One of the things that is new to the broadcast, and we're going to watch the entire accident here, is that I now have the capability to see the flags, Sam. So the cars of Donald Green, Edwin James, Eric Corder, and John Hutchins, those machines all have the meatball, and there you see why the 77 Mighty tags the outside fence. He gets tagged by the 35 backwards in front of the field.
Now that second time into the fence is Eric's attempt to keep the car against the wall. That was him trying to keep the car against the wall and save it, but he hit it with such force it pushed him right back out in front of the field there. I know what Eric was trying to do. He was trying so hard not to allow that to happen, but you're just along for the ride on those cold tires.
Most certainly so, Sam. So we'll kind of reset things for you. We've got several cars on pit lane affecting repair. That would be Jason Heaney, Trevor Benz, Donald Green, Corey Crandall, and Keith Graham. We have 4 cars that have the meatball, and they must respect that. That's Green, Corder, James, and Hutchins. Our leader is Greg Evans. He's followed by Kyle Heath, Logan Edward, Ryan O'Donohue, and Joshua Siegfried. Under caution here at the Darlington Speedway, or Darlington Raceway, 4 laps into a scheduled 147. This would have been a track that I would have put money on, Sam, that we would see some long green flag runs. They tend to get pretty spread out here. The action really does kind of slow down as you get wear on the tires, and so if we're able to get this thing going, I would expect long stretches of green flag racing.
Darlington, in my opinion, always has a reputation for that. Usually, like I said earlier, you're going to see the trouble on starts and restarts. But if these drivers if they can just get in a rhythm early, you can see some long green flag runs here. Because I don't know what it is about Darlington, but a lot of the drivers have such great respect for this racetrack that they want to save their equipment. There's not a driver that's in this race tonight that does not understand that this track, it does not have 40 grit sandpaper. It has an industrial grinder on those tires, and the tires can go away incredibly quickly, and you can lose a lot of space. So if you can just get settled in and work a pace and work a rhythm and work your throttle control, then you know you can save tires for the long run. It is notorious that a lot of drivers understand that and will work to do that, and I'm hoping that's going to be the case tonight. Eric Corder's situation was typical, and he certainly tried, but the result was less than optimal, and I hate it for all the drivers that were involved. Donald Green has already taken it to the hauler. Eric Corder's taking it to the hauler. It's just tough to go one lap or not even one lap and have to call it a night.
Yeah, it is. We are back under green flag racing. Greg Evans gets the drop. Kyle Heath is going to fall in line. He's going to be second. Ryan O'Donohue is not in a flashy machine. He's in the Brass Pro Shop throwback. He'll run third. Logan Edwards is fourth. And already you see those cars slapping the outside wall, Sam, coming off of turn number 2.
You're wanting to generate so much speed. Turn 2 is the fastest corner on the racetrack. You want to generate as much speed as you can because that's where you can make passes. Is down the backstretch and going into 3. So the drivers will flirt with that outside wall in 2 so that they can get that big run coming off of that high-speed corner.
Speaking of flirting with that outside wall, Kyle Heath just about came to grief coming off of turn number 2 over there. He had that car flat sideways. That's going to heat up those rears, and it'll give Ryan O'Donohue a chance to pull up on him for the second spot. Meanwhile, that'll allow Greg Evans to check out, and you can see the amount that the field is spreading out here. We'll take a stand.
Already starting to spread out.
Yep, we'll take a stand on top of the Winston Tower right here. This is we're standing on top of those buildings in what is now turn number 3, and we'll kind of get a look down the old front straight and the highway behind it, as Sam has said. And this gives you a great perspective of how the cars get into this corner and the various different lines that they have to choose to get through it.
Mm-hmm. Those grandstands are so nostalgic because at one time those grandstands had a huge wood canopy that was over the top of them. Back in the day when Petty did his infamous roll down the front stretch and his arm and half his body were coming out the window, there's just a lot of nostalgia at this racetrack.
Yeah, there is. And taking a look at the battle, it started to heat back up at the front. Kyle Heath now all over the back of Greg Evans one more time. As you can see, fans, everybody else is kind of strung out. So we're going to stay with this battle for the lead. That's Kyle Heath. He is tracking Greg Evans. It's one of those deals where, you can run hard now, but Sam, if you run hard now, my man, you burn those good years off. You're not going to have much left for the rest of the stage here.
Well, you'll find there's a 20-lap litmus test here. After about 20 laps, you'll start to see who was able to save tires and who isn't. You'll begin you'll see the incremental change in how fast cars are.
They'll move, like you see here, Kyle Heath has now moved up to the top in 3 and 4 as Greg Evans continues to run the bottom in 3 and 4. And a lot of drivers have their specific thoughts about how much they can save tire in 3 and 4 because it is much tighter. And so some drivers feel confident that they save more tire on the bottom. Others feel like that they save more tire on the top. I personally feel like you're using up the right rear a little bit more when you ride the wall. But generating speed and keeping momentum on that bottom is a talent.
Yeah, and
you're going to see after 20 laps, about lap 22 to 25, you're going to start seeing these drivers. You're going to start seeing who's saving and who's not.
And you can kind of see it right here from the we're sitting inside the rear bumper of Greg Evans, and you can kind of see the different lines that the drivers are taking. We'll do the same thing. We'll go to Kyle Heath, and we'll get on his roll bar, and you can kind of watch. Now he's moved off of that line, Sam. He started to track Greg Evans almost identical.
Yeah, I think he's starting to just experiment to see what's going to work for him. Kyle is a veteran driver. He knows how both lines work, but he also is in a little bit of a precarious position because he's catching some of the air off of Greg's car. Greg's got all the clean air, and so Kyle could be thinking, I need to make sure that I can get enough clean air on the nose that I can turn the car when it starts to tighten up.
Well, and the other thing he might be thinking too is look back off the gearbox. It's not as though Kyle Heath can afford to slack down. That's Ryan O'Donoghue, and O'Donoghue is not that far back, 0.3 of a second, 0.4 of a second. So it's not as if Kyle Heath has a free ride out here. The top 6 have separated themselves now. Evans, Heath, and O'Donoghue, those are the top 3. Logan Edwards is 4th. There's Edwards in the 86 machine. He's got the 99 of Joshua Siegfried. That's the top 5. The 6th car in line is Kendall Paul. Yeah. Now Kendall is fresh from chasing the weather all over the Midwest. As you see, the 99 of Siegfried get up close and personal and get himself a Darlington stripe. Those top 6 have drawn away. Dylan Godnez is 7th, and here's Godnez. He is nearly 2 seconds behind Kendall Paul. James Hodgson is another second behind him in the 88, and even though he changed the paint scheme, Sam, look at the top of that. Look at the top of that 88. Numbers are still.
That, he's caught on to something.
he's adopted that as his own. That's Hodgson. He's the 8th.
I love it. It's the signature. I love it.
A little bit back further to Jeffrey Hyatt, then Adam O'Brien. That's 10th, and then you've more or less got a mess. Nolan Milnes is 11th in the old Steve Park ride. Love to see that. These cars were 2x2 like the start of this race just a couple of laps ago. There's Milnes and Justin Osterman in 12th. Joseph Klein is 13. Is that the Underbird I see there on the 7? It's on a Camaro.
7. Joseph Klein was actually in the Hooters car.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's painted like the Alan Kulwicki Underbird.
Yeah, I had mentioned that in the race practice that is the Alan Kulwicki scheme.
If ever there was a guy that didn't fit in the 80s and early 90s in NASCAR, it was a guy from Wisconsin who was a bachelor, had an engineering degree, and was a Catholic. And Alan Kulwicki came down and won himself a championship. Yeah.
And did the unthinkable.
Yeah,
and they made contact off of 2. He and Justin Osterman, it looked like Joseph Klein got a big run through 1 and 2. And just had started his move to go by Osterman, and Osterman bounces off the wall, but they both save it.
Yeah, they both save it.
It was amazing that they saved it.
How much, though, did Justin Osterman use up his tires to save that car, though? Because
usually at that the car is so light right there that once you get sideways, it's you meeting the inside wall. It is just a great piece of driving for those drivers to save their cars.
Most certainly was. And there's Osterman. He goes from 13th to about 16th. He's not done either. He just got in the wall again. He's going to have pressure from Sean Merriman. Merriman is going to try to get his machine underneath the 53 of
Oh,
Austin.
Kyle Heath's in the wall. Kyle Heath's in the wall. Our second place runner.
All right.
He saves it, but he pulls. He oh my heavens! He pulls in behind Ryan O'Donoghue.
Well, let's have a look and see what happens to Kyle Heath here. Here he is. He's going into turn number 1. I believe. Yes, that's turn number 1. He goes up, and this is so easy to do here. You lose concentration for just a tickle, and there it is. He gets in the fence once, and he comes off of it. But once you get in the wall, Sam, it is awfully hard to get out of it. There's a second, and now he's just in it. The wall glue here is very real, and he just keeps kind of tagging. I
can't begin to tell you how much your momentum slows down once you begin to scrub that wall that much.
Yeah, 100%. Now there's Kyle Heath. He's got it going again. The car is not hurt. That doesn't really hurt anything, Sam.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't hurt anything. Matter of fact, the wind tunnel suggests that it might help matters if you flatten that right side down a little bit. Be that as it may.
He's gathered it up enough that he's coming back now to give Ryan O'Donoghue a little run for second place here again. It was just a misjudgment for a moment. It doesn't seem to have hurt the car much. And
no, it doesn't.
All of that has allowed Logan Edwards to catch up to them as well. So we're going to have quite a little fight for second place here soon.
We have, and Greg Evans loves this because he can just drive off into the sunset.
I was thinking earlier, Ryan O'Donoghue was watching those two leaders, and he was just pacing himself behind them. If it were me, I would have found myself trying to save tire as well for as long as I could. Just keep pace enough, not allow them to get away from me, but save enough tire that I could actually make a late run on this particular set.
Oh, for sure.
He's doing a great job.
He is. I mean, you know, he's running along in second. It is way too early. Well, it's not way too early to talk about points anymore. Greg Evans leads those points with 5 races counted. He's on 238. He's set for some stage points here with a 33-point lead over Adam O'Brien. Adam O'Brien is 8th. The man in third in the points, though. Well, now third, now fourth.
Oh, and Logan Edwards is going to take that opportunity as well.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Logan Edwards, once Kyle Heath got the line, it opens the door for Logan Edwards. You're going to see a pass. Kendall Paul is going to move by Joshua Siegfried, and this is right in line with that tire situation you were talking about, saying we're working lap 26, coming to get 27. Maybe the guys that burned their tires up early, they're going to start to follow the back. But I was going to say, Ryan O'Donoghue's another one. He's on for some decent stage points here as well. He runs 4th. He is 37 in arrears. Dylan Godnez is 9th. He's 4th in the points. Sean Merriman is 5th and out of the top 10, or out of the top 10 in this race.
Yeah, I believe that you will start seeing some drivers that have been saving considerably. They'll start moving it up, and then others that were pushing the car a little bit hard, because it is a 45 lap run, I believe, for the first stage, and some drivers may feel like that they could really push the car for 45 laps, or they could use it as a test session and find out how hard they could push a set of tires for that long.
Speaking of somebody that's kind of saved him, let's take a look at Kendall Paul. He started 8th. He's made up 3 spots. He is the fastest car on the Darlington Raceway right now. His last lap was about 0.03 of a second quicker than Greg Evans even. So Kendall Paul is coming. He started 8th. He's currently 5th. He's making up spots. He's making them up late run. We've got 15 to go, but he's a 10th quicker than the likes of O'Donoghue and Edwards in front of him.
I'd be interested to know exactly how many positions that Adam O'Brien has made up already as well.
Well, I'll tell you what. There he is, the cone man. He runs along in 8th. Adam O'Brien started 22nd, so 14 spots for Adam O'Brien since the start of this race. O'Brien, though, is showing a little bit more tire fall off than those around him. He's already up in the 32s. The only other car in the top 10 that's consistently running 32-second laps, that would be Joshua Siegfried. Siegfried has started to fall way back. He's going to fall into the clutches of James Hodgson before this stage is over, and we'll go ahead and show that, because here's Hodgson, and it's
wow. Brian has a handful of that car. Wow.
We'll get the camera back on Adam, since he seems to be worth the price of admission. We do have a car coming off of pit lane. That is, I believe, Keith Graham. He is 4 laps down. We've also got Corey Crandall.
Corey Crandall, yes.
Circulating. He is 12 laps adrift. Trevor Benz, Jonathan Wiley, Donald Green, Eric Porter, Edwin James, and John Hutchins have all put it back on the hauler, as Adam O'Brien makes every attempt to wreck his Ford Mustang Dark Horse off of turn number 4.
Adam O'Brien will be giving free drift lessons after the event tonight.
You know, what's the line and I just watched the movie Days of Thunder. He does it again coming off of 2. I just watched Days of Thunder with my boys today, Sam. You know, and what's the line? We got to figure a way to run so you don't melt the tires. I don't know that he's doing his any good, Sam. And he's about to be in trouble. Dylan Godness and Nolan Milnes are right there, and he's still got to make another 12 laps in this stage if he wants to hold on to those valuable stage points.
They are already lapping cars here. It's Paul French, Ted Craven. I think Michael Moquin was actually in the first for the caution that we had at the beginning of the race, but he'll be nursing damage.
Yeah.
Now you have drivers that are in the back of the field who are seriously considering. Now, Lee Campbell he's not in jeopardy at the moment, but you do have Michael Moquin, Ted Craven, Paul French. All of those drivers are thinking, I want to be in the position for the lucky dog when this competition caution or the stage break comes, so that I can get at least get that lap back. So those Paul French actually just went another lap down. So now it's between Michael Moquin and Ted Craven. But the question is can Craven hold on for another lap if in the event that something happens with Moquin?
Well, some intelligence on Paul French. He pulled it down pit lane and has punched out of the 37 right on the roll bar of leader Greg Evans. The strategy here at Darlington used to be, Sam, if you went a lap down, you immediately wanted to hit pit lane. Get yourself some fresh tires.
Exactly.
Turn your car into a rocket, and get the short pit, get the time back, and then hopefully you'd catch the cycle right where it would actually put you ahead. And a caution would come and equalize things. Now with the stage cautions, not so much. You're trying to stay in position so that if you get that, when the stage break comes out, you're the lucky dog. Right now, Michael Moquin's best. Michael Moquin is cheering hard for Justin Osterman. Osterman is next up, but he is about 7 seconds. He's about 7 seconds.
This is a great race back here for the 10th spot. Adam O'Brien is trying to hold on to 8. You have Nolan Milnes, who's pushing the issue now, and Troy Carragher is waiting in the wings.
Adam O'Brien got way too loose.
Oh, wow. And now it opens him up. He has to slow down so much to keep the car out of the wall. And that opens the door for Dylan Godnez. Troy Carragher is now next on the hit list. And J.D. Daniels is closing in on this fight as well.
Alex Robinson's in here. He says Adam needs to stick to his micro. To be fair, that's how you drive one of those dirt cars, is with the back end out like that. You don't want to do it here, especially at Darlington, because that just introduces heat, Sam. And when they get hot and greasy, the problem just continues to compound.
There's no grip. No grip.
Well, and then it becomes a feedback loop where the hotter they get, the greasier the rear end gets. The more you slide it, the hotter it gets. He has got a handful of that car. Yes, he does.
He's wrecking loose every corner now.
You know who he reminds me of? There's only one other car I've ever seen that loose this consistently and make it work, and that's Lionel Clisto.
Lionel Callisto is a talent. I've enjoyed racing with Lionel Callisto, and he's a superbly nice gentleman. Lives out in California, and I have great respect for Lionel Callisto, and I agree he can drive a car that seems like many others cannot drive.
He's got to have some. He's got to have some lightning hands. Gary and I went on board with him many a time in the ISRA series, only to see his wheel go from 50 degrees left to 50 degrees right to hard over right to back and forth, and somehow he made it lap after lap. We do want to thank everybody who's out there watching the P1 Broadcasting presentation of the American Motorsport Association Black Magic Studios 200 miler here at Darlington tonight.
Now we have the 8 down on the apron.
Yeah, there's that is Michael Moquin, and I think he's just getting out of people's way.
He was up for the lucky dog here.
Well, Osterman's now gone a lap
and
down.
Now he's in the wall down the backstretch. He's hitting the wall.
There he goes again. He almost gets it going through turn number 3. Moquin is no longer lucky dog. Osterman has.
Oh, I see. Yes, now Osterman has been passed. You're right.
Yeah, Osterman's gone the lap down. Lee Campbell would be next. Campbell does seem to have enough. Well,
he's got a 5-second differential here between he and Greg Evans, as Greg Evans is still maintaining the lead, and Kyle Heath has closed that lead a little bit, but of course Greg has been working traffic, and so that could play into that as well.
We'll go back
and
here.
I did see in our chat tonight, I did see where our friend Mike Rigney had piped in and said, hello, Mike. I didn't want to disregard your pleasantries, and so thank you so much for being in and tuning in to the broadcast tonight. And it's always great to have you hang out with us.
It most certainly is. And for everybody else out there, we do encourage the chat. Keep those coming. If you have not already done so, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to the channel so you'll get notifications of all future AMA broadcasts and the rest of our content here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. Watching Greg Evans as he steams toward what seems to be a pretty a stage 1 that's pretty firmly in hand here, Sam.
It certainly looks that way. I've just been kind of watching the lap times and seeing where Kyle Heath has just been closing incrementally. But again, we don't know which driver is doing what. We don't know the intent of each driver. We don't know if Greg still has a little something he's been saving. We don't know if Kyle was saving something even after he had got into the wall and now he started to push. So the stage, I don't think that they're going to make a big fuss over the end of this stage as we're coming to the conclusion of it right now. And we'll find out in the latter stages who has what for who.
Yeah, here we go. We're at lap 45 of 47, and I believe we've got to get to 46 before Kendall will call it. And remember, you got to wait till.
There's your caution.
Yep, there's your caution. So Greg Evans wins the stage. Kyle Heath second. Logan Edwards third. O'Donohue, Kendall, Paul round out the top 5. Hodgson, Siegfried, Milnes, Godinez, and Carricker are the top 10. Adam O'Brien fell all the way to 12th. With his slidiness there, Sam.
And Lee Campbell was able to stay ahead of our leader, so he will be on the lead lap. He'll be the last car on the lead lap. But Justin Osterman was the last car to be passed by Greg Evans, and he should get the lucky dog, preventing that he didn't make any contact with the wall or any other driver.
He most certainly will. Now, if you're like Michael Moquin or Ted Craven here, do you dare stay out, take the wave around, and just hope for another early caution?
Absolutely not.
I was going to say that.
Absolutely not.
That would be awfully wild if you did, right?
Well, it would be the sketchiest, scariest thing. You'd be already going a lap down within a few laps.
Yeah, you'd almost have to have an immediate.
It would have to be a caution on the restart immediately for you to really benefit from that.
Well, here they come. Everybody has hit pit lane. Osterman does not. He's taking the wave around. Moquin and Craven did not take my advice. They are going to come into They are going to come into
Osterman's
the pit
actually our
lane.
lucky dog. So
Right, so he's got to wait one lap.
right. But this has got quick. We have quickie cautions here, so he should be coming in this next time by.
Yeah. Waiting on the race off pit road. Greg Evans is going to win that.
Logan Edwards is actually, for his first race here in the AMA, he's putting on a good show.
Most certainly is. Going to wait for everybody to get off the pit road here at Darlington. And we will go. There's the pace car. There's the 08. That is
Dylan Godinez.
Well, there was another. I believe that was Keith Graham actually. 09.
The 09 is Keith Graham.
Yeah,
correct.
the chrome blue car, and that's how long it takes these guys to catch up. The pace car is all by his lonesome, Sam.
Maybe he's turning faster laps than the leaders. Who knows?
Maybe. There he is. We'll take it.
We know, actually, as we went back and looked at the charts, and it looked to me as though the pace car led the most laps at Martinsville last week.
I believe the pace car did lead the most laps, and we're doing a much better job tonight. We are already 1/3 of the way through the running here at Darlington. You see the cars come off of turn 2 behind the pace car. Notice that's such a veteran move by Greg Evans and the drivers up at the front of this deal. As you see cars limping around, Justin Osterman does have a black flag showing. That's going to be a drop to the rear.
May have there may be a passing infraction.
Yeah, he's got a black flag showing.
When you're the lucky dog, sometimes it's not unusual that you run into that.
Well, and he's got to go to the back of the longest line anyway, so that's not really a huge.
It looks like now that it looks as though Lee Campbell was trapped. Now he's.
He was trapped, and now they've thrown the yellow.
There is some confusion about the 44 of Lee Campbell and why he's being put up in the front of the field.
Well, he in the olden days he would have been on the tail end of the lap.
Well, he had not been lapped yet. But when the caution came out, he could have been in a position where he had to line up behind the pace car.
Right, but then he should have been waved by it, and maybe he didn't. But they're going to have to sort this out.
But
because
if he pitted with the leaders, if he's showing right, if he's pitting with the leaders when they came in.
Yeah, this is going to be something that they're going to have to sort, because Keith Ayers and Justin Osterman both now show with black flags in the events.
Well, they're working now feverishly. The administrators are working feverishly now to correct some of this. Now, this is just a byproduct of when you have a race here at Darlington and the field gets so strung out. Is that when you have a manufactured caution like a stage break or something like that, then the pace car automatically is called out at the time of that caution, and so it could very easily catch a lead lap car. And at the time, Lee Campbell was just a couple of seconds from being lapped. So the pace car could have come out in a way that he would have been in front of Lee Campbell, and it just kind of jumbled him up in the pit cycle.
Yeah, it's a weird thing on iRacing. It's the same for the same reason that sometimes you'll see. For the same reason, Sam, sometimes you'll see if there's a caution on a start or a restart before everybody has passed the start finish line,
point,
you'll see the
That's a good point.
You'll see the thing get jumbled up. So no worries there. We'll just we'll hang out behind the pace car here for a few laps, and that gives us a chance to get in some words for our sponsors. We do have Black Magic Studios on board with us here, and Black Magic Studios are a small 1-2-man operation. They do provide high quality custom iRacing paints and wraps. Go see them on Facebook and Discord.
Back on the pace car. We're not going green this time. We are not going green.
We're going to extend this again, so you're going to see the pace car come back. But Black Magic Studios, you've also got Archway Industrial Coatings. You can visit them at archwaycoatings.com, or you can talk to Sean Mott. He is number 5 out there this evening. You have Admin Box. Admin Box is the preferred admin button box supplier, and I have one of those. I think we got Mike Rigney hooked up with one too. And we'll see.
Oh, nice.
We'll see Fish and his crew at the Sim Gaming Expo. It's being put on by our good friend George Anzaldo in Chicago in September. And so, but if you're a race controller out there, get yourself an admin box. Race control at the touch of a button, custom made button box. If you need to throw somebody out, it is literally remove driver, type the number, hit enter, and the box codes everything for you, throws them right out. So it's an amazing tool. Also, Track Racer, Rogue Energy drink on board here in the AMA series. We are working caution lap 52 of 147 just because of a scoring snafu.
Right. Now we have the pace car coming in, and we're going to be going to green flag right now.
We do indeed. I think they've got it all sorted.
And we are showing 18 cars on the lead lap now. 18 cars.
We are indeed. There they go. It did put Justin Osterman one lap down again due to the black flag. Lee Campbell still does have a black flag, I'm showing. So we'll keep an eye.
He does, and he actually announced that, and they're working on it now.
No. So maybe there's more things to clear, and they can do that. There are, by my count, no less than 5 drivers in the field tonight that do have those admin boxes, and so they can...
Oh, wow. Hey. Woo. J.D. Daniels with a big move through 3 and 4.
Yep, and
he makes up 2 spots. He made it stick. He got it down there and he made it stick. But that's a big, bold move on cold tires.
Now I'm gonna have to watch here a little bit, Adam O'Brien in that 87 machine, because he charged. Remember, Adam started 22nd, so even though he faded at the end of that stage, Adam O'Brien still made up 11. Still made up 11 spots.
He was comfortably in the top 10 at one point, and then
we've got another car around this. Moquin in the background. We're going to stay green. Moquin hard into the inside wall, and let's see what happens to Michael Moquin from the
That is, it's just one of those space that coming off the corner again, and the car gets extremely light and loose, and sometimes you just can't save it, and the only thing that's going to stop you is that inside wall.
Yeah, you're looking at the 8 of Michael Moquin. He just gets it loose coming off the corner, and it's almost like it sucks you down there. You can't get it straight fast enough, and bam, there he goes. We're gonna get back live. We're gonna get back with the leader, Greg Evans.
Well, now we've got to run under our belts. Kyle Heath has a little bit better idea of how Greg's going to run his car, and then of course Logan Edwards and Ryan O'Donohue, who actually were not far off from these leaders. They too were going to be watching and see how that they can make up some of the time that they may have lost to Greg in the first run, and then once we get through this particular stage, they can really apply some of that schooling that they took into their recent knowledge and try and utilize it for the end of the event.
Yeah, I was going to say, everybody's going to look at the tires from the first run, and they're going to say, I saved too much, or I didn't save enough. Thank you to Eric Porter for popping in the chat. He apologizes for the first caution. No worries, brother. It happens to everybody, and we'll see you. We'll see you next week. We do thank you for your compliments, of course. We're watching right back here around Jason Heaney in the 9. You've got the 94 of Troy Carricker. That's in the old Bill Elliott Mac Attack car. They've got Brian Sharp behind them, and Justin Osterman is in tow there as well. Osterman, of course, is a lap down. He isn't in the lucky dog position here. Although Osterman either just disappeared or smacked the fence, one of the two, because he drops way off that pace. But these guys are battling hard. This is 14th and 15th you're looking at 14th and 15th. These guys are battling hard, and this is just about the best battle on the track. You've got Dylan Godness. He is right up under Nolan Milnes. You've got a lapped car that's, well, no, I take it back. That is James Hodgson in the 88. And then you've got Adam O'Brien in tow as well. What I meant to say, though, is you're going to see guys that they know now, hey, I used up too much on that first run, Sam. I didn't use enough. There's more there, right?
Oh, there's so much to learn when you run stage races like this. There is so much to learn. What your car can do, what your tire wear is. They can look and see what the temperatures are on those tires. They can find out which tires wore more. They can decide how they can amend that with maybe a little more brake bias. But there are so many factors that they can take in and learn about how they're driving, where they're pushing, where they're not pushing hard enough. It's stage racing does give you that privilege of learning what the car's doing in that amount of time and how you can manage it for the other stages.
Now, I wonder if there's any telemetry hounds in here that'll come in, hit the pit box, punch out of the car real quick, jump back in, and then drop the telemetry file into Motec and look at it while they're riding around under caution. Because I've known guys that'll do that too.
Wow.
You got to be pretty quick with it, especially if you're.
I do good just to keep the steering wheel in my hands and push those pedals at my feet. I'm doing really good to do that.
I was going to say, if I can get a drink of water and maybe light hard into the wall there. That's Dylan Godness, and he's going to lose a spot to James Hodgson. Dylan Godness hit it a ton, Sam, coming off of turn number 2. We're going to go back and watch the 08.
He sure did.
Wow. That's a lick. Now that's gonna
that's a pancake. That's what we call a pancake.
Now that's gonna hurt it, right? What you saw Kyle Heath do earlier, that doesn't really hurt anything. But watch Dylan Godness. He kind of gets into it a little bit. He's gonna get off of it. That doesn't hurt. This is what does. Boom. My goodness gracious.
So much impact there, and you could very well get wheel damage in those instances. He's pulling the car off of the wall the best that he can, and then the curvature of the wall stops and it just goes straight. And that's a huge lick for Dylan Godness, and it can affect the drivability of that car.
Well, and of course they used to
severely affect it.
They used to say that they used to call it treacherous turn 4 here. Treacherous turn 2 doesn't really have the same ring to it, but the wall there, it's almost like you're running headfirst into it coming off the corner there, Sam.
I've heard drivers say that those impacts at Darlington in that particular wall will jar your teeth, just simply because of the momentum that turn 2, the speed that you generate off of that corner is immense. It is a lot of speed, and if you hit that wall, it is a sudden stop. It is a sudden stop with lateral G-forces. So I can understand why a driver would say it would jar your teeth. If you're racing here in iRacing with force feedback, and depending on the rate of force feedback that you're using, it could knock the wheel out of your hand.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this about it, Sam. I mean, believe it or not, we came here in open wheel cars because we're not very smart. But we came here in open wheel cars, and I hit that wall doing about 215 miles an hour with a high output direct drive wheel, and it does want to rip. I mean, it ripped the wheel out of your hands.
Yes.
And the reason it's so treacherous is if you think about Darlington as we watch the top 4 here, if our fans at home think about Darlington, think of an egg, right? You've got the narrow end and you've got the wide end. And just like an egg, the wide end, as you exit the wide end, it gets more, that's where it starts to narrow off. And so you carry a lot more speed through that part of the track right? Because it's wider. But then
sweeping. It's so much more sweeping.
Yeah, but then coming off the corner, it's almost like there's an extra apex there. If that makes sense to you, Sam.
That runs out.
Yeah, it runs out. So you'll be running along. you run along a regular line, and man, I got this corner nailed, and bam, there's that fence. That's why you see those guys. They'll run they'll enter low. They'll let the car drift off to the fence, and then they'll want to hit.
They'll diamond the corner. Diamond the corner. Right. It's what we call diamonding.
Yeah. They'll want to hit the bottom They'll want to hit the bottom white line coming off the corner. Because if you stay high there, you are going to smoke that outside fence. You're going to hit it hard, just like we saw with Dylan Godness. So that's the.
There's no question it would be a bone-jarring, real-life thing.
It would indeed. Sean Merriman, by the way, has brought his number 18 to the pit lane. Sean Merriman has the meatball, so he will respect that in his Mustang and bring it to pit road. Merriman has been in his box for a minute and a half. He's gone 3 laps down, and so Sean Merriman is sporting major damage here. We are down, Sam, to 16 cars on the lead lap. The last car on the lead lap is this man, the 125 of Brian Sharp. He's got it moving in the right direction, Sam. That's an improvement.
Well, as long as he can avoid the trees, Brian Sharp has got a good run going tonight.
He has. He is 16 seconds off the pace. And he is eligible to do the next car lap down.
We're so busy talking about all the things that related to the track, we missed that Kyle Heath is taking the lead. So we hope that the broadcast, those that are tuning in the broadcast, that we're apologizing for that. But Kyle Heath has taken the lead from Greg Evans. Logan Edwards is actually closing in on Edwards now, and Ryan O'Donoghue. Our top 4 cars are all now nose to tail in this particular stage, and the racing up there is getting excited. Kendall Paul is not far off of these drivers in fifth spot, and he's closing. He's actually closing.
That's exactly right. We got in the Wayback Machine. We're watching the battle for the lead now. Kyle Heath effects the pass on Greg Evans, and so there they go. Evans looking to return the favor. He's going to come low down the backstretch. He's going to get in low into turn number 3. I don't think he's going to push the issue, though, as they run up on the lapped machine of Keith. Is that Keith Ayers or Keith Graham? It's one of the Keiths. I believe that's Keith Graham. He is.
Yeah. I think what we missed was on lap 71 was Greg Evans had come off. We were just talking about that how dangerous turn 2 is, and Greg was coming off of turn 2 and got just a little bit. He was trying to avoid that wall and just got just loose enough that it slowed his momentum down. He didn't want to hit the wall, so it slowed his momentum down, and Kyle Heath was there ready to pounce, and he made that pass there in turn 2 on lap 71.
100%. Keith Ayers, by the way, is the recipient of another black flag. He had just come to pit road, and so that's going to be speeding on the pit lane, speeding on exit. Ayers is 12 laps down. For you Keith Ayers fans out there, running along in 21st place. Meanwhile, Kyle Heath leads it, and Sam is right on the money as always. The top 4 right together. Superlative battle for the lead. Do have a great audience watching it too, and do want to thank everybody out there. If you are enjoying the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series, smash the like button, ring the bell to subscribe to the channel. We are nosing in on 1,000 subscribers, Sam. The count is under 100. Remember last week we were talking about 100?
We're counting down. I told you we're no longer we're trying to count up. We're counting down.
I mean, to be fair, I did
now
go
we're
to.
Only 76. We're only 76 subscribers from 1,000.
To be fair, I went to Ball State, so we don't count at all. But yes, 170.
you mentioned that.
100, or well, we are 75 away now. 75. So if you haven't, if you haven't done it, ring the bell as the march for the march to 1,000 continues. We're watching Greg Evans think about how he's going to get back around Kyle Heath. He got a great run coming off of turn number 4, right up under the rear of of Heath, but he'll follow him through turns 1
Oh,
and 2.
Greg gets really high there in 1 and 2, a little bit loose, but he manages to keep his momentum. These two drivers proved at Martinsville that they can race together and do it in the right context.
They most certainly can.
Right now, they're putting on a show. They're putting on a show.
Yes, they are, and I can vouch for. I've never raced against Greg. I've called many races with Greg Evans, but I have never raced against him. I have had many a duel with Kyle Heath in the AMA Truck Series, the Archway Industrial Coating Series. Caution is on the speedway. It is going to be Nolan Milnes. And here's Nolan. He is racing along with Adam O'Brien. And there's some contact going down the front straight with Milnes and Adam. Milnes gets the worst of it. He spins the inside. He's going to miss the inside wall. Is he going to miss the outside wall? He does not. Hard contact. Rear of that car to the turn 1 fence, and that is the reason that we are under our third caution of the evening.
Wow, that's well, Adam.
And I do appreciate everyone's patience. My mouse has decided it was going to go missing, and so I need to reset and realign.
But when they come off of 4 here, when they come off of turn 4, Adam gets a big run, and he's trying to get to the inside of Nolan Milnes, and Nolan Milnes takes an unconventional. He comes off of the wall. It looks like he may even just be trying to discourage. I don't know if it's a full block, but it looks like he may be trying to discourage Adam from making that pass. And he comes off of the wall a car width, and then Adam goes to make the move, and then they meet, and he catches Milnes in the left rear. He made some heavy contact with the rear of that car in turn 1.
Yes, he did, and we're going to see him pull it on the pit lane. Nolan Milnes, hard contact. He maintained his position on the lead lap, Sam, and so that's a good thing. But he is in the pit lane and under significant repair.
Well, now our leaders did come in and pit.
They did.
They did come in and pit.
They did. So we've got some split strategies now.
With a stage break just a few laps from now.
We've got some split strategies now, Sam. Logan Edwards, Kendall Paul, Adam O'Brien, James Hodgson, they have stayed out. There you see it. 34 laps on the tires for the top 4. Everybody from Kyle Heath on back, they stopped. Justin Osterman is back on the lead lap. He did not stop. Brian Sharp is still on pit lane.
I'm not 100. I did not look at the fuel mileage tonight. I don't know if they can make it on this particular stop.
It would be a tall order.
Well, they do have extra tires. So they have plenty of tires, and there is another stage caution coming up, so they can pit again. So it's not a matter of whether they can make it or not. The option will be there for them to go ahead and get another stop and fresh tires. And I would a few laps. When is the next stage? Lap 90.
Lap 90 is the next stage break, and so that's the thing that I was going to ask you, Sam, as we get ready to come back to green here. If you've got a stage in 6 laps,
yeah.
Or you're still going to come back and get tires, though, I would imagine.
Yeah, the cars with fresh tires are going to be at a decided advantage. You really have to watch wheel spin here. With old tires, these cars could get some wheel spin, and it could cause some chaos. And we see it. We see a couple of cars spin their tires up front. But Kyle Heath gets a great start, and that outside line does not get going with Kendall Paul.
No, well, he had a little bit of help from Adam O'Brien, but look at Kyle Heath. He just drives right around Adam O'Brien. And he's gonna have.
Now he's gonna pass Nolan Edwards. And he should do this with no problem whatsoever.
Greg
And that leaves
Evans.
Ryan O'Donohue and now Greg Evans also on fresh tires. They should have a big run coming off the corner here and get in the inside of these two cars. But now it could get very tight going into one.
It
Do a
could.
great job right here.
Godden
We got
is-
one that's loose and up in the wall,
That's
but he
Godden is.
saves it.
All
And
right,
now,
caution's
oh,
out,
we have another
caution's
caution
out.
out on the racetrack.
hard impacts. That is J.D.
Oh, we got
Daniels.
several drivers.
That's J.D. Daniels. Jason Heaney is involved. And let's see what we've got. What we've got here. We're going to start with.
It's back up. It's all the way up to J.D. Daniels.
All right, here we go. Here's J.D. Daniels in the 55.
And it looks like Keith Graham.
Yeah.
Is that Keith Graham on the inside?
That's James Hodgson on the inside. It's James.
Okay, it's James Hodgson.
Yeah, so they came together. It looked like it might have been a little bit of net code. 55 sideways, and that is a bad place to be sideways because of how narrow it is.
Especially on a restart.
Yeah.
Especially that close to a restart. Boy, Heaney takes a big lick on the inside. He gets collected by a couple of other cars. Lee Campbell actually catches a piece of Heaney there as he bounces off the inside wall. One car hard into the outside wall. That would be the 94 of Carragher. He hit the wall a ton on the outside wall. And that will be our stage break. That will be our stage break.
So it works out for Logan Edwards. He's going to wind up second in the stage. Adam O'Brien, fifth. Kendale Paul, seventh. And James Hodgson, ninth. So all the cars that stayed out. And let's watch this back from the roll bar of our man Brian Sharp, because he had a bird's eye view. Look at the top of your screen. And there you see the crash develop. And watch how narrow this gets coming off of here. And you've got cars spinning, no idea where to go. Smoke Sam, where do I go? Sharp just stands on the brakes. He doesn't hit anything, but he has to go extremely slow. No worries for that, though. I don't believe the 125 has a mark on it, and right now it's 10th. So stage points for Brian Sharp out of all that. How about that?
Interesting. And he doesn't hear the song.
He doesn't, and I know Brian loves to hear his song. We are under caution here. Sam, I'm going to take a moment just to untangle my mouse for a minute. So
Okay.
it fell down. So I do these. Sam has a setup to do broadcasting, just broadcast. I do my broadcasting from the rig, and my mouse just fell down amongst the wires in my pedals. So give me a minute, Sam. I'm going to go untangle that mess. I will be right back.
By all means, go ahead, Mark. We appreciate you and all that you do. There's no question that Mark actually carries the brunt of responsibility in our broadcast, where he works with a lot of the software, and he prepares every week to make sure that we're putting on the best broadcast that we can here at P1 Broadcasting. And Mark carries the brunt of that. They've asked me just to come along for color commentary, and they graciously put up with my shenanigans as well. And it's just an honor to be here anyway. And I enjoy the time that I get to spend with the AMA drivers. It's been good getting to know some of them. Also, the administrative team at the AMA has been nothing short of respectful and kind in accepting me here. And so, speaking personally, I found it to be an honor to be included with the broadcast team for the AMA Grand National Series as well as the Truck Series on Friday night.
Even with the Butterfingers like me, Sam?
The Butterfingers, yeah, and a little forgetful at times, but I think that's why we're a team. We help each other along.
That thing, so somehow I managed to drop the mouse. It decided that it was going to wrap itself around my throttle pedal and the back of the hydraulic reservoir for the brake. So That was not a lot of fun, but we have it untangled now, and I can once again freely select things. So how about that, Sam?
It's always helpful when you can freely select things.
That's right. We are working lap 89 of 100. Do have Kyle Heath as your winner of the second stage. He's going to come down and collect those points here momentarily. Logan Edwards is second, Ryan O'Donohue third, Greg Evans fourth, Adam O'Brien. The gamble pays off. He's going to bring it home fifth. Godness, Kendall Paul, Joseph Klein, James Hodgson, and Brian Sharp has not yet heard the song. He'll collect a stage point for 10th. How about that, Sam?
Now, not this particular caution, but did Logan Edwards pit with the rest of the leaders on the last caution?
He did. So everybody
Okay.
that stayed out, which is Edwards, O'Brien, Paul, and Hodgson, all of those cars pitted. Their last stop was under the
Previous caution.
Previous, yeah.
I tell you, tomorrow night, I don't believe that the AMA trucks are running tomorrow night.
We are off tomorrow night. That is right, Sam.
And
No.
so with an off night, I will tell you that I am looking forward to going down to Gastonia, North Carolina tomorrow night. And the USAC 360 sprints are actually going to be racing there. Ricky Stenhouse is on the list of drivers that are going to be participating at that particular track tomorrow night. And I've asked to be an honorary starter at Carolina Speedway tomorrow night. So I'm looking forward to getting out there and having some fun in Gastonia, North Carolina at Carolina Speedway. If you'd like to come out and see some great dirt track racing, it's called the Action Track for a reason. So we hope that you'll come out and be a part of that if you're in the local North Carolina area of Charlotte or the surrounding area of Gastonia.
Now, Sam, to be completely fair, that's USAC sprint cars are more my cup of tea, being from Indiana.
These are the big winged.
You're doing
360s.
the wing 360s.
Yeah.
See, I prefer we you have the top wings.
You're more the 410 sprint guy.
I am a topless guy. I like
the 410 sprints are beasts. Those are beasts.
That's what they run at Hobstock, Kokomo, Terre Haute, the Indianapolis Fairgrounds.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One of these days, I'm going to have you and Rigney and the whole East Coast crew. We're going to have to bring you to Indiana during Sprint Week, where we run 8 sprint car races in 9 days. We'll traipse you all over this great state and get you to go to.
Well, you're in the heartland. They have opened the pit lane, and here we go with wholesale pit stops.
Yeah, wholesale is right. Kyle Heath is going to lead him on a pit lane. No surprise to see Logan Edwards. He's going to take a dive down there, as is Adam O'Brien. I'll tell you who didn't come in. Ryan O'Donohue.
Ryan O'Donohue and Greg Evans.
Now, that actually surprises me because they were already up there. Justin Osterman stays out, too. It surprises me that Evans and O'Donohue did not come, unless they figure...
I agree 100%. But we saw an interesting call last week with 20 laps to go. Kyle Heath comes down and takes fresh tires. And at the moment, we were shocked, and we were thinking, how is he going to get back up through this field and win this race at Martinsville? But when he come back out for the restart, I think he was 6th or 7th, and so he made a quick run to the front and was able to pass to Greg Evans, who had a few lap older tires, and he made it work. And so now we could very well be seeing these pit strategies play out that I was mentioning at the beginning of the race. Greg may have something up his sleeve.
Well,
Kyle may have something up his sleeve.
My thought here is if you're O'Donohue, Evans, Osterman, my thought might be, look, I've only got 10 laps on my tires right now. Of those 10, at least 7 of them are under caution. So, I mean, even one lap here at Darlington hurts them, but it's not like they're in the same position that Logan Edwards and those guys were in before, where they had a full green flag run on their tires. Evans, O'Donohue, and Osterman, they've only got a couple of green flag laps, and so that would, I guess, be my thought is I've only got a couple of green flag laps. I might as well give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of schedule,
I mean, We
Go
don't
ahead.
know exactly. We don't know the intent of drivers. We don't know exactly what their personal thinking is. We can't know unless we pull them up here in the booth with us. And some drivers may be inclined to share what they're doing, and some may not. But we won't find out exactly what was going through their head until after the fact.
Some of
And
them might.
and
Some of them might play
Justin
coy, Sam.
Osterman is a key player here because Justin Osterman has had his fair share of troubles tonight, and he's managed to get back on the lead lap, but he also did not pit. So he's a wild card here in trying to figure out how he's going to run with these leaders that have been incredibly fast all night long.
He most certainly will. We're going to get in the P1 airship to watch this restart, just to see if everybody gets a decent launch. You're going to have Ryan O'Donoghue on the inside, Evans on the outside. They do get away in good shape. Osterman doesn't spin the tires
There's
either.
Kyle Heath. I mean, he's just got fresh tires, and he is right there.
He is. Now, I would look for Greg Evans to try to make this move as quickly as humanly possible to get around. Logan Edwards
And there he
hard.
goes. Already on the inside of Ryan O'Donoghue.
Yes, he is. You mentioned
He wants clean air. He wants clean air on the front of that car.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely the place to be. That's where you're going to burn the least tire. If you're going to burn them, you're going to burn the least amount in the clean air. It surprises me that Kyle Heath has not drawn immediately in on O'Donoghue and Evans.
It could very well be within a small window of making it on fuel here.
Could be. You were mentioning the schedule, by the way, earlier. We are off tomorrow in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. The next race for that one, 250 laps at Bristol.
Ooh, Joseph Klein, loose off of 4. He saves it.
Yes, he does. That's the
Wow.
Hooters machine at the top of your screen. Greg Evans goes purple lap, 157.206, 30.024. So Evans, fastest car on the speedway. Evans and O'Donoghue have separated themselves from Kyle Heath, but Joseph Klein hitting the wall and nearly spinning the car out didn't discourage him. He is still all over Adam O'Brien for that 6th spot. He's into the wall again.
Way up on the wall. He's really trying to get those big runs coming off of turns 2 and 4.
He most certainly is. So that April 11th show, that's going to be 250 laps from Bristol, and then April 18th we go to the Rockingham, North
Bring the
Carolina.
Rolade. Who is the title sponsor for Bristol? It has to be Rolades.
Well, it used to
Or
be
Tums.
Well, it used to be Goody's headache powders.
Well, it used to be Food City. Goody's actually.
Well, that was the spring
handled
race.
The whole, yeah.
It was a spring race. So the spring
Food
race.
City handled. Right.
Food City had the spring race, and it was the Goodies. For a long time, it was the Goodies 500. Then it went to Sharpie, I think. And now it's the Bass Pro Shops night race. Is that what they call it?
Then Goody's, I'm not mistaken, Goody's actually went to Rockingham for a while as well.
And they had the Martinsville race too. Any one of those tracks will give you a headache. So,
Well, that was because Richard Petty put them on the map.
yeah. Well, you remember when they used to have the MRN used to have it's on the tip of my tongue. It was the Goodies, headache of the race or something award.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't called that. It was something catchier than that, and it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, Logan Edwards is going to go by Justin Osterman here, maybe. Those two are going to rub doors going through turns 3 and 4.
Oh, they're gonna fight for this spot. Nobody's gonna concede that one easy. Justin Osterman is gonna race him.
Yeah, he's going to race him hard. He's got 4th. Logan Edwards is 5th. He wants 4th.
Logan Edwards just gets way too low on that entry and decides discretion is the better part of valor here, and he falls back in behind Osterman.
Race the racetrack, not the competitor, right?
Every time, you will find yourself on the losing end. 9 times out of 10 when you find yourself racing more of the competitor than you are the racetrack.
You most certainly will. Speaking of Bristol, though, we're going to be at Bristol next week in these cars, and then at Rockingham, two Thursdays away, April 17th is the Rockingham event for the Blackmagic Studios Xfinity Series. Then Talladega in Texas before, Sam, we mercifully get a week off on May the 8th. And that's the first, May 8th and May 15th are the first 2 days that this series will be off since it started.
Well, it'll probably be a welcome time for these drivers to kind of catch their breath and recollect some data and information, and just allow themselves to rethink how they ran those first races and how they can approach the races that lie ahead.
Most certainly. We are watching the battle between Justin Osterman and Logan Edwards. That is 4th and 5th. They've got interested observers in a much more stable Adam O'Brien and a very, very, very loose Joseph Klein in 7th. Mike Reading checks in. He says he's old. He needs an RV with a bathroom and a bed if he's going to go do sprint week. There are people that do that. There's probably an honest, I'm going to say 500 to 1,000 people. Usually the traditional opener is a Friday night show at Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and then they'll go up to Bloomington on Saturday. They'll take Sunday.
Edwards uses up a lot of Osterman's door this time.
Osterman uses up a lot of Logan Edwards.
They hit each other again, and Edwards is having to save the car off of two.
Yeah, I was going to say, Osterman felt that, and then he used up a lot of Logan Edwards in return there. No harm, no foul. Everybody saves it, but now Osterman's got he's got a rearview mirror full of Adam O'Brien. And while those two may be teammates, it's worth a note that not always are teammates working together. So Justin Osterman and Adam O'Brien are in one Discord. Brian Sharp, Ted Craven, Kendall Paul, and James Hodgson are in another. So the Dark Horse Performance team, the Black Magic Studios backed Endeavor, there are 6 of them, but it's really 2 teams of 1 of 2 and 1 of 4. How's that for interesting, Mr. Sam?
That is interesting. It's a little. I could see where it might be a little bit confusing.
It is indeed. Logan Edwards is going to scrape the wall, and that's going to cost him some time.
Big run for Adam O'Brien that time. It looked like Osterman may have had the wall in his sights and got out of the throttle just so that he wouldn't hit the wall, and that really opened the door for Adam O'Brien, who had a big run coming off the two.
Most certainly.
That moment is now half a lap, and no call Osterman. Just
appreciate everybody's patience out here. Sam is going in and out. We're watching Adam O'Brien. He has pulled away from Justin Osterman, and we're looking back at Logan Edwards. He is now caught back up to Osterman, but Adam O'Brien has gone. One of the things that we'll ask Sam when he gets back.
I'm here. I've been here the whole time.
Can
you hear me?
Yeah, you cut out. The connection cut on you, so no worries.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had cut out, actually.
No worries. So I was going to say, one of the things I'm going to be interested. You mentioned that some of these guys that stopped under that stage break might be marginal to make it on fuel. You would think that the guys Evans, O'Donohue, and Osterman, that they're definitely committing to stop. Again, I would venture a guess that Adam O'Brien, who has run his car extremely hard, he's not.
Martinez gets into the side of Joseph Klein. He's been banging him really hard for the last lap, trying to get by. He tried to nudge him out of the way in 3 and 4 the last time by. Now they're door to door as they're coming through 3 and 4. And Klein probably hasn't taken a lot of exception to being bumped around like that. So now for the last lap, they've been fighting really hard. They're saving the cars a lot. I'm sorry to cut you off there.
No, that's totally fine. I was going to say, you may have different agendas here. Like Kyle Heath, he may be trying to make it. Adam O'Brien, he might be thinking, look, I'm going to have 2, 25-lap runs and just melt the tires, go for broke, which his lap times indicate that. Adam O'Brien last time through 24.854, he was nearly 2 seconds quicker than Greg Evans. And so, Adam O'Brien has been running some
He
quick
also
laps.
pitted with Kyle Heath, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
He did, but he's been running around much quicker than Kyle Heath is my point. So he may be thinking, look, yeah, I might be able to make it on fuel, but I'm going to melt the tires anyway, and we're going to make it 2 short stints. Who knows what the strategy is going to be? Logan Edwards, he's fighting Osterman in the background, and pizza toppings. Don't sleep on
Carragher
the
in the wall in front of Kyle Heath. But he's able to get it down, and Kyle just clears him on the outside.
Oh, and Heath hits the
Kyle
wall.
Heath's in the wall now.
Kyle Heath in the wall.
He hit it square, but it sure did slow him down quite a bit. He'll lose time to the leaders off of that.
Yes, he will. And since we've got Logan Edwards fans in the chat, we'll go ahead and show him he is in a fight with Justin Osterman for 5th. Now, advantage Logan Edwards on the tires by about 9 laps. Most of those 9 laps were under yellow, so that's worth saying. But there he is, the 86, green and white, plain Jane vehicle there. Right behind Justin Osterman, knocking on the edge of a top 5, and it's been a really good day for Logan Edwards. He's led some.
Now, Logan Edwards has proved that he has a fast car, and he's decent on the long run. But he's also finding that passing this 53 car is a job. It is absolutely a job. He has been working the 53 for a number of laps, and he has tried high, he's tried low. They've been door to door. And now there's a big run right here as Osterman just avoids the wall. Oh, it's so close.
There's your.
He makes the pass, but Osterman looks inside of him for a crossover, but he won't have enough momentum this time. And Edwards is finally around the 53.
Holy Moses. Good work for Logan Edwards there.
How did he save that?
I don't know.
That is brutal on those tires. Brutal.
It is, but again, we don't know the agendas. We don't know, is Logan gonna stop? Is he gonna stop?
Now he has a handful of that car.
He does. Well, he used up a ton of tire, and now Osterman falls into the clutches of Kendall Paul, as well as Dylan Godness. Meanwhile,
Kendall's been saving enough tire that he should make this pass easily.
He should. Now, there's a battle brewing for the lead. Ryan O'Donoghue has caught Greg Evans. They have pulled away a 1.5 seconds over Kyle Heath, and there's Heath in the background. You see Adam O'Brien is 4th. It is a long way back to Logan Edwards in 5th.
Osterman again in the wall. He saved it again right in front of Dylan Godness. We can always count on Osterman to put on some kind of highlight in the race. That 53 always seems to be pressing the buttons, so to speak.
He's loose again coming off of turn number 4, flying under the flag stand. And he's got Lee Campbell that's going to address the worn Goodyears on that 53 in pretty short order. That car for Lee Campbell, the Goodyear machine, it reminds me of a car that was in it was in past video games. I don't know that anybody ever ran that thing. Do you?
I do not.
At any rate,
I don't know that anybody ever did.
He's under Osterman, who is wicked loose on the top. They've got James Hodgson in the 88 right behind them, and James is thinking, oh, for heaven's sakes, please don't hit each other. Osterman in the wall again.
And he's in it again.
All kinds of Darlington stripes, and now we're going to go yellow.
They're not going to save it this time. They're just not going to save it this time.
Nope.
As Lee Campbell comes around, Osterman finally took enough of the wall that he just can't keep it off the wall, and he comes down and catches Campbell as he's making the pass. And that brings out the caution. And now fuel strategy is out the window.
Now fuel strategy and tire strategy are out the window because they're going to have just 125 lap.
Now it is a run what you brung. Cash for the cash.
I wonder, Sam, Justin Osterman disappeared on there. I wonder if he hit the incident limit or hit a incident limit. I can't tell, of course, how many incidents they have, but he immediately was.
There is no incident limit on the race this week.
There isn't. So Osterman, as you can tell, fans, he immediately disconnected. I think trying to play the good sport. Yeah. And
it was just that is an attempt by drivers in iRacing that if they have had enough, or if they're about to lose control of the car, they can alt F4 and leave the race to prevent a caution from happening, but it was too late because Lee Campbell was already there and he collected Lee Campbell.
Yeah, I mean, he was a split second late on the button. But also, that's what it'll look like if you hit an incident limit, right? You'll hit it; it'll let you go another 100 feet or so.
Yes, sir. That's correct. If they have an incident limit and you meet that limit, as we saw last week with a couple of drivers, it will do just that. You're immediately ejected and disqualified from the event.
Most certainly. So Lee Campbell did stay out under that yellow, and I think that what Lee is doing is he wants to give himself the longest period of time he can on pit lane under repair, because he has some severe damage to that 44. He doesn't have a meatball, but there you see it. The front's all stove in. He's got some damage on the back, some damage on the right side. So he's going to cycle all the way to the front so he gets maximum time on the pit lane, which altogether is a pretty smart move, Sam.
Yo, I agree. If you have the opportunity to repair as much damage as you can, I would fully encourage that. There's no sense in thinking that you would go into the pits and then immediately leave when you're leaving 20 or 25 seconds on the table where they can do extensive repairs.
Yep, and so we're going to watch it here. He does have a black flag, which is going to be tail end of the longest line unless he sped.
That's no big deal.
Yeah, that's no big deal. He knows he's going to the back of the line anyway, so no worries there. Could have been passing pace car.
And we're going to be coming around to take the green flag here.
Yeah, so
Adam O'Brien has, after driving one of the most temperamental cars that we've seen tonight, Adam O'Brien has got it all worked out, and now he is in fourth position. Me personally, I'm shocked considering that there's only been really 2 cautions that have included multiple cars. The attrition rate has been really, really high tonight. Darlington has definitely left its mark on this race.
Well, and to be fair, as we go back green one more time, Greg Evans gets the drop on Kyle Heath. He'll go back to the lead. To be fair, a lot of people just don't. This is this is a track in life, just like it in the sim. In life and in the sim, where some guys love it and there are others that do not like it. And so, there's a subset, there's a group of people that they'll come here because they have to, but the minute you hit something or your car gets wrinkled up and it starts driving bad, we'll find an excuse to jump out, right? There are 18 cars out of the 32 that started. JD Daniels is the latest to have ejected from the 55. Corey Crandall is 20 laps down. Keith Graham is still circulating, although he is on pit lane one more time. He is 10 laps down. Lee Campbell did have a drive-through, and so he is serving that now. Greg Evans is going to set the fastest lap of the race. We've got a whole bunch of stuff happening all at once, Sam. I don't know that there's any catching the deuce, though. Jason Heaney in the wall.
Kyle Heath has proved that he's not afraid to try. And actually, we found out in the last stage, we also found out that Greg is human. And, of course, losing momentum off of 2 and almost hitting the wall, it really closed the window for Kyle Heath to make his pass and take over the lead as well. So anything can happen within these last 20 laps. Nothing is off the table when it comes to Darlington, because it will bite you, and it will bite you quick.
Yeah, it most certainly can. Sam. Watching the number 7 of Joseph Klein, it's been that 7 has been in the wall quite a bit, and so he's been worth the price of admission. He's got James Hodgson to his rear. This is a battle over 8th. The front 7 have kind of detached themselves.
Oh, big handful of wheel there. A lot of wheel there.
Do we need to get the white gloves out for Kyle Heath?
Just watch him sawing in that car, but he's actually decided that he's going to push the loud pedal, and he's going to try his best to catch Greg Evans. and now it looks like he's starting to make his run.
100%.
Carragher is up ahead of the leaders here, and it looks like Evans is going to catch him in a really good spot. He's going to catch him as Carragher actually does the best thing that you can do if you're a lap car here is give up the high line, give the fast cars the high line, pull down out of the way, and allow those fast cars to move past you. So kudos to Carragher there for great driver etiquette.
Yeah, awareness, etiquette, all of those things. We've got the front three spread out just a little bit now. Really the top five. The best battle on the track is Dylan Godden is in 5th, and that is Logan Edwards in 6th. They've got Kendall Paul in 7th, Klein 8th, Hodgson's 9th, and Nolan Milnes has moved his car, and that wasn't too long ago. That thing was backing in the fence. Nolan Milnes has moved it back into 10th position. Do want to thank everybody watching. Another great crowd on hand tonight for the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified of all of the future P1 Broadcasting iRacing broadcasts, and we have a lot of them upcoming for you. Just to kind of set up for you. It's April, and you know what month comes after April, Sam?
May.
And May for guys that live in Indiana is pretty much race car heaven. I think that works in
race mecca month.
You know, I think that works in North Carolina too. Sunday night, we're going to have the Votive IndyCar Oval Series. That's going to be happening from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Gary, of course, he's over with our friends at the Elite Racing League doing their race at Long Beach tonight. There is no truck race tomorrow, so we're going to take that one off, fans. Sam and I are going to enjoy. I think it's going to be nice up here. I think I might start the barbecue. Saturday.
Well, I think really if you have a night off, Mark, the best thing you could do is probably do some intricate rewiring of your rig so you don't get tangled up again.
You know, I'm not hanging upside down suspended from a ceiling fan, so we'll consider that a success. But truthfully, I mean, you know, Gary's going to be doing the Velocity Online race at Long Beach on Saturday, and then we're going to have Votive on Sunday night at 8. We'll have the regular IndyCar Series broadcast, Open Series broadcast. That's Clindy and I on Monday. Following that, Mike Rigney's ISRA Internet Sim Racing Association. They're going to have their season opener at Auto Club. And Sam, am I ready for that?
Great racing in the ISRA.
Great
racing in that league.
Are you going to join us? We're going to see you without fenders.
I have prior commitments, actually, in some other leagues that I'm racing in. So I will not be able to make it into the ISRA series.
It would be wonderful to have you, but I understand prior commitments. On Tuesday, we'll have, and that'll be the nightcap, 9:30. And if you have not seen open wheel cars run Fontana, you should.
Oh, Kyle Heath's in the wall again in 3 and 4. He hit it really hard that time, and he's just barely keeping it off of exit there. And that's going to allow Ryan O'Donoghue now to close the gap a little bit as Greg Evans begins to stretch out his lead now with less than 15 laps to go.
He does have less than 15 laps to go. We'll have Nashville Tuesday night, 8:15 for the flagship broadcast. Wednesday, dueling streams, Horizon IndyCar at Iowa, Formula Indy at Road Atlanta. That'll be at 8 and 8:20 respectively. And then we're right back here, Sam. The AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series from Bristol on Thursday, the Truck Series on Friday. So look forward to seeing all of our loyal fans of the AMA back. Mike, I agree. It is going to be a banger at Cali. I'm looking forward to that. There is nothing more that I love than a 500-kilometer or 500-mile race at one of those facilities. Not so much, and believe it or not, and I'm going to sound like a heretic, and Gary Gonzo is going to reach through the internets and probably whack me over the head with a rolling pin or a microphone or whatever. I would much rather race at Michigan or Fontana than I would Indianapolis. Just for a flat-out, full-throttle tilt. Those two tracks are the two showpieces in an open-wheel car. So I'm looking forward to it, Sam.
Oh, well, Mark, you've got great talent in those open wheel cars, and I've had the privilege of racing you in those cars, and you're always a threat for a win wherever you show up in the Indy cars. There's no question about that. So
Unless
I
that,
really hope you have a good season. Oh, Dylan Godinez is now in the wall, and that opens the door for Logan Edwards. But Logan Edwards chooses not to take advantage of that.
yeah, and that's interesting. I saw that, and we got the camera to it. You know, it's almost as though Edwards is saying, "Look, you're already wrecking yourself. I'm not going to push the issue. I'm going to let you. You know, it's almost like
10 laps to go.
It's almost like the racing version of the rope-a-dope, right? I'm just going to let
I almost
you.
wonder if Logan Edwards didn't see that he was in the wall and losing momentum, and that he tried to get a huge run and got a little loose, maybe.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that maybe he just backed out of it and allowed Dylan to gather it back up, because if he goes to make that move and Godinez is completely out of control, at that particular point where he would have made the pass, Dylan would have cleaned him out. And that's just smart racing. It's just smart racing.
It is, but now you see the payoff, and you see the benefit of that. We're coming to 8 laps to go, and Logan Edwards has now pulled right up to the back of the 08. This is really the only position
the best race on the track, yes.
Yeah, it's really the only one that's being contested. Kendall Paul, it's worth noting, became the 4,815th victim of the turn 2 wall just moments ago that you saw. He hit it pretty
Well, it just
good.
goes to show you this many laps into the race, 7 laps to go, and these guys are still pushing these cars as hard as they will go. They're trying to get every last ounce out of those Goodyear Eagles.
They are. They most certainly are. And it's been a great night for our points leaders, too. Greg Evans, Kyle Heath, Ryan O'Donohue, Adam O'Brien, and Dylan Godinez. That is the top 5 in points, not necessarily in that order, but that is the top 5 in points, too, Sam. So all of our points leaders have had a really good night. 141 of 147.
It always rises to the top.
It does.
Really does.
It does. And Darlington is a track that'll do that. The same with Rockingham. Maybe not so much a restrictor plate track or a short track, because at those places you're kind of at the mercy of some of your competitors. But here, some of the 1.5 mile speedways, you can really figure out who the wheelmen are and who aren't. And speaking of wheelmen, Logan Edwards has now decided it's time to go. He pulls the inside of the
He can't get
08
that momentum
machine.
on 4. He just can't.
No.
Not without clocking him.
No, but you just wonder how wore out are the Goodyears on Godinez's car, because he can't get off the corner either.
Yeah, they're both using every bit of the car that they have left, but the way that they're fighting for this position, you see what the result of that is. It opens the door for Kendall Paul to come up here, and now he is contesting this 5th spot as well. And I believe all 3 of these drivers are hungry enough that they're willing to fight for it to the end. And pretty soon James Hodgson's going to be up here as well.
Yeah, I mean Hodson's been the quickest car out of any of these 3 or any of these 4 really the last several laps. Logan Edwards.
Wow, look at that closing speed.
Yeah, I think Logan Edwards is a lot quicker. Kendall Paul gets up in the wall again. I think Logan Edwards is a lot quicker than Godinez. He just can't figure a way around him. With 4 laps to go, though, he's gonna need to hurry up and get it done.
Oh, time's running out for Logan Edwards. He's been incredibly respectful in trying to make his passes with Dylan Godinez, and he's been thoughtful, and his cerebral approach at trying to make this work has been nothing short of respectful with his first race here with these drivers. And I think that when you run with a new group, it's important that you try to build that rapport up with the drivers if you can.
It most certainly is. Most certainly is, Sam. Even if you've been around a long time, I mean, I prefer to race that way as well. Here comes Kendall Paul. He's going to flash to the inside of Edwards. Not enough momentum to get done. We're coming up on 2 to go this next time, and the move might now have to get, I don't want to say desperate, but maybe so, Sam.
If they want to push the issue, now's the time to do it. If you have anything left and you want to take a chance, now's the time to do it.
Most certainly is. There goes Adam
But
O'Brien.
I can assure you, Logan Edwards has been trying to do it for the last 20 laps.
He has.
There's
While we were watching
no
that,
question.
Adam O'Brien went by Ryan O'Donoghue for third to sneak a place on the podium.
Incredible.
He
That's incredible.
most certainly is. All three, Godness, Edwards, and Paul, got in the wall coming off of turn number 4. You think they're not pushing these cars for all they're worth? That's a great example of they are pushing them for all they're worth. You've got a lap car up here. Kendall Paul in the wall again. He's going to flash to the inside of Edwards. No,
He's looking, and now he is on the inside of Edwards. Edwards is into the wall. He loses all that momentum, and Kendall Paul will make the pass.
he does make the pass. Kendall Paul is
And he beats him to the line for 6th spot.
He most certainly does. Dylan Godness will hold on to 5th. James Hodgson going to come home 8th. The winner, surprise, surprise, Sam, the Darlington Whisperer, Greg Evans.
Pulls off another clinic tonight.
He does indeed. And we'll talk to him about that. We'll talk to him about that clinic in just a few moments. But we've got some. I
would love to give a shout out to all the drivers who persevered tonight and stuck this thing out. We had 11 cars on the lead lap, and I really do want to just give a shout out to all the drivers, despite anything good or bad that may have happened to them in this event, that stuck it out and raced to the end. As we were saying earlier, this is not the most fun place just to ride around, but it does say a lot about a man's character that's willing to come in here and stick it out.
Most certainly does. And speaking of character and skill, Greg Evans, he is your winner. Kyle Heath second. Adam O'Brien rounds out the podium. Ryan O'Donoghue and Dylan Godness will complete the top 5. Kendall Paul, Logan Edwards, James Hodgson, Nolan Milnes, and Joseph Klein. They're your top 10. In 11th, how about a shout out to Brian Sharp? He brings the car home clean. He brings it home on the lead lap for a well-deserved 11th.
He sure does.
Lee Campbell 12th, Jason Heaney 13th, Troy Carricker 14th, and Ted Craven is 15th. Keith Graham, Corey Crandall are your remaining finishers in 16th and 17th. Justin Osterman, J.D. Daniels, and Jeffrey Hyatt will round out the top 20. In 21st, Sean Merriman, Keith Ayers 22nd, Joshua Siegfried brings it back 23rd, Michael Moquin 24th, Paul French 25th. All of these cars out of the race: Sean Mott, Trevor Benz, Jonathan Wiley, Donald Green, and Eric Porter 26th through 30th. In 31st, Edwin James 32nd, John Hutchins. Colby Pierce did not take the start. He will be credited with 33rd. And let's see, Sam, do we have, who do we got hanging around out here in the waiting room? There's Adam O'Brien. Let's bring him on in. Adam, you've got Mark and Sam in the P1 broadcasting booth. Do you got a copy, sir?
I sure do.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Cone Man, you bring it home in third after your late race pass there. You look like you were driving a dirt car in the first run. What'd you learn that let you stay up front in the second and third stages?
I definitely learned I cannot burn the right rear off like I normally do. I'm used to getting the car on the right rear, letting it ride around, and I learned real quick it makes the car super loose and uncontrollable to put any power down in the wide open turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, and you definitely applied that lesson in the last 2 stages of the race. Sam, what do you have for a third place finisher tonight?
Adam, great run. It's good to see you back on the track. We certainly missed you and the excitement that you bring every week. Of course, your qualifying effort was not an indication of how well you were in the race tonight. Can you just give us a little insight of what it was like to try and work? Do you think that part of that loose condition and burning up that right rear was part of the learning curve that you were going through, working your way up through the traffic at the beginning of the race? Do you feel like that was probably a contributing factor?
Yeah, it was definitely a massive factor, having to figure out how to not let it sit there, because dirt car background, used to always want the car on the right rear to get the most bite out of it. But with asphalt on this track, it definitely don't help. I tried doing that in the qualifying run, and my second lap, I ended up actually hitting the wall when I was up on time, and what kind of put me back there, which I was a little upset about. But we made it work. We drove our way through, and happy to be up here.
Well, we're happy to have
Well, next time I have some wood to cut, I'm calling you because I've never seen an individual saw a wheel so hard in all my life.
you. You know, we gotta get Andy to paint you up some white gloves for the sim. That would be a great addition to your car. You've already stolen my chrome white wheels, so we got to get you some white gloves to match it. But Adam, congratulations on your stout run from 22nd to 3rd. You're definitely the hard charger. Friends, family, sponsors, shout outs. The floor is yours, sir.
Definitely got to thank Reflex Photography, all the work he does with the sponsor of my actual car. Got to thank my mom, Mike, Alex, all them. They were cheering me on tonight. It was kind of cool getting to have them watch. You guys for broadcasting, AMA for putting this on. I mean, I know I made a mistake a couple weeks ago, and I own up to that. And we're gonna change it around, and let's have some fun this rest of the season.
Heck yeah, my man. We'll keep going fast and having fun. We'll see you. We'll see you next week, Bristol, buddy.
Sounds good. See you there.
Yes, sir. That is
Great running, Adam.
That is Adam O'Brien. He is going to be credited with third place today. The man that runs second started there, Kyle, one spot short. You briefly went by Greg Evans at one point in this one, but couldn't stave him off for the long term. Tell us about your night, my man.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was hoping that maybe, for long green run that I have a better car, but it seemed like Greg Evans, he just had it going. I don't know how he did it, but he beat me in my home track.
Great run tonight. You and Greg, again, putting on a great show at the front of the field. This time, though, you had a little bit of company with Ryan O'Donohue and Adam O'Brien, several other drivers. Logan Edwards was keeping pace there. At one point, there was a 4-car race for the front. I was just a little curious from your point of view, though, Kyle. Do you feel like Clean Air had a little bit more advantage in these cars at this racetrack? Do you feel like that would help the leader?
Yeah, in a way. I've been known at this track, especially with these cars, that sometimes the car behind, it acts better than it would in the front, because like as soon as I got the lead, it's like my car totally acted weird. It was different. It was kind of harder to control than it was behind Greg, but it's just this racetrack. If you don't take care of your tires, the track's not going to take care of you.
Yes, sir. That's very well said. But it's another great showing tonight by you, Kyle. It's just terrific to watch you and Greg and several of these other cars maneuver around this nostalgic racetrack. It takes a lot of skill and a lot of experience to be able to do what you guys do. So great run tonight.
Yeah, I just wish Darlington, they would kind of help do something with how your car is. You should be able to run, if you wanted to, run the high line at 3 and 4, but it seems like it just really don't do anything good, to be honest with you. Maybe on fresh tires at the beginning it will.
Yeah,
but,
I did see in the first run that after a few laps, I guess it was about 15, 17 laps into that run at the beginning of the race, I did see you did move up to the top to see if you could make it work.
Yeah,
But
it's just
it's
not
really
there.
critical to have a high entry there and
Yeah,
make it work.
I
or
did a
you'll in the
couple.
wall.
Yeah, I did a couple official races, and I noticed, kind of in the middle of the run where doing the high line of 3 and 4 actually helped, but this track, you should be able to run where your car is comfortable, and coming out of 4, it seems like whether you're high or low, you still got the same momentum. If you come out of 4, you should have a little bit better momentum, but it
On that high
really
side.
don't. It really don't play out
Like
that
at
way.
Homestead. Like at
Yeah.
Homestead. Yeah. No, I agree.
But all in all, it's still a fun track. I enjoy it. It's one of my favorite tracks. between that and Atlanta, old Atlanta, not new Atlanta. I don't.
Oh no, I agree. This is
New Atlanta
this
should
was
never been
a
made.
delight to watch you guys run this racetrack tonight. I love racing Darlington, and it was just as much fun for me, even though I wasn't able to drive. It was just as much fun for me to watch you guys. You put on quite a show.
It's a learning
Yep.
experience every time I watch you and Greg, Kyle, because I've chased you around here enough in these things. So I'm back here. I'm over here taking notes, watching you two. But speaking of notes, shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. The floor, sir, is yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a big shout out to AMA putting it on. It's been fun. I'm hoping I can make a few more Thursdays, but I think on my schedule I got some Thursdays I might not be able to make. Give a big shout out to you guys at broadcast, and shout out to my teammates at FGR. We had 2 weeks in a row we had a bad outing between the teams, so maybe luck needs a turnaround and everybody actually finished the daggone race.
I'm sure it will, Kyle. We'll let you get back to the team and keep going fast, having fun, buddy. You hear?
Yep, thank you, Mark.
Yes, sir. That is Kyle Heath. He's going to run second tonight. And without further ado, the man of the hour, Greg the Machine Evans, as he is going to become, as we're going to start calling him. Greg, you've got Mark and Sam in the broadcast booth. You started on the pole. You led pretty much the entire race. Was this one in doubt?
Oh yeah. I never really thought that I had it until the white flag came out. I know the 14 was fast, the 87 was fast. 13 was really fast again. It was just a battle all night long. It seemed like no matter what happened, there was always somebody a little bit faster or either right on your tail the whole night.
Yeah, Greg, it certainly wasn't a runaway tonight until the last sprint. I think it just appeared to me that you just felt like with just a little over 25 laps to go that you could really push the car a little bit more than you would in a stage or in a long run. Did you find that did you run those last 25 laps? Did you run them more like a sprint instead of a long run?
Yeah, I would say a little bit more so. You didn't want to push too much because you didn't want to lose your rear grip, but I really felt like that I would rather be a little bit further out front and make somebody catch me than save tires and have to try to really race somebody. And it just kind of played out. I really thought that the 13 was actually going to end up probably running me down there at the end, but it always seems like at Darlington, if you're trying to catch somebody, you end up overdriving a car maybe a little bit, and I don't know if that's what he did or didn't do, but
Yeah, there was one little spot there with around 10 laps to go that he did catch the wall a little bit, and it slowed down a lot of his momentum.
yeah, that's what tends to happen. It seems like even if I'm trying to catch somebody, man, it's really hard to try to catch somebody here and also not overdrive it. So, yeah, that last.
Is that what happened in the second stage when Kyle was finally able to overtake you? It looked as though you just got a little too high on your exit in two, and you had to back out of it a little bit.
Yeah, I got a little tight there, but honestly, he had started to kind of chase me down a little bit at the end of the first run, and honestly, I kind of wanted to ride behind him for a little bit, see what he was doing differently. He was getting into one a little bit better than I was, where I was kind of hitting the apron more. He was kind of arcing it off in there, and running a little bit different line through one than I was. And then I really felt like the bottom in 3 and 4 was the fastest, but I knew he was kind of playing around up the groove a little bit, so I kind of wanted to see where he was at. So I got a little bit tight, but I wasn't going to. I was absolutely fine riding behind him for a little bit there.
Well, it was a great, again, another great exhibition of what you're able to do when you get out front and have a fast car, Greg. Great job tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you so much for week in and week out supporting the series, Greg, and displaying your considerable talents. And with the winner goes the spoils. The microphone is yours, sir. Friends, family, sponsors, shout outs. Anybody you'd like, go on right ahead.
Yeah, like I think I said, gotta thank Freightliner, um, Sim Magic, Sim Lab, for the chassis. Um, I think it's Black Magic for hosting the series. I thank you guys for broadcasting it like always. It's always fun when you get to go to work, or some people, that they know that you race, and you can kind of go back and show them what you do. And some family members and stuff have came over and sat behind me while I race, and they can go back on there and watch it too. So maybe one of these days my little girl can get on there, and these broadcasts will still be on there, and can see what Daddy used to do a little bit. Maybe she can get her into it as well. So like I said, but just thank you guys for everything, and thank AMA for hosting it and putting on a great league. Last week was a little bit rough, but this week we got to some green flag runs, and that's always nice.
Yeah, well, we thank you so much, as always, for stopping in. Congratulations on one more trophy, Greg. We'll get you out of here and let you go celebrate.
Appreciate it, guys. We'll see you next week, and have a good weekend.
Yes, sir. You sound like me. I'd say go fast, keep going fast and having fun, but more or less I want to tell you to go to bed.
Hey, I'm working on that, and I'm just really glad I didn't have to pee really bad this week. Before we went green, I went and used the bathroom.
Well, there's a big difference from an hour and a half to 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say we weren't halfway at Martinsville yet at this time last week. So.
Yeah, I felt like me having to pee kind of slowed me down to extra weight last week, so I made sure I got everything drained out for me.
Nice. Well, we'll get you out of here and let you get some rest. That's Greg Evans. He is your winner tonight here at Darlington. And Sam, I don't want to say that it's expected, but truthfully, when Greg is here, when Kyle Heath shows up, it's almost as if we know it's going to be a battle between those two, isn't it?
Well, it's certainly shaping up to be that way. And the thing that excites me about that is that you have two drivers that have proven that they know how to generate speed and race well at short tracks as well as intermediate tracks. And so what that does is it adds up to those drivers working hard to hone their craft and work around each other. These two drivers actually race very well together. But I was also encouraged to see drivers like Ryan O'Donoghue at a difficult, with the skill level raised at a track like this. Ryan O'Donoghue, Logan Edwards, Adam O'Brien, and several others. Kendall Paul ran up in the top 5 and 6 a lot tonight. Those drivers have proved that they too have speed, and so who knows that little extra something that it's going to take for them to be in the mix as well. It's going to be really interesting as the year unfolds to see how these drivers are going to play out their strategies during these races now, especially with stage racing, tire usage, and making fuel calls in the event that there may be fuel mileage races as well. So it goes beyond just the skill behind the wheel. It will go into the battle of the strategies and the minds and figuring out what you're going to do to make sure that you have the best plan to win races.
And I think it speaks volumes. We talk week in and week out about community and how the different series that are all here on P1 are supporting each other. Ryan O'Donoghue is going to show up, and he's going to take to the track with us on Monday night. Give a shout out to Logan Edwards. Logan is a guy who is a regular.
First race here.
Race here. He runs 7th. That is a regular in our top split open and fixed IndyCar broadcasts on the channel. Logan Edwards brings it home 7th tonight. He was nowhere outside. I think 7th might have been the worst he ran all night, and it just happened to be.
And he makes a comment in the chat as well. He makes a comment also. Well, not in one of the other chats. He said this is one of my weakest tracks.
Yeah.
So what is that going to say moving forward of what Logan Edwards might be capable of?
It says a lot, and it's great to see the series continue to grow. It's great to see the audience that we had again tonight. I know Darlington is not the most thrilling of tracks sometimes, and so Do thank everybody who watched for sticking with us. Do want to shout out to Blackmagic Studios for sponsoring the series. We do have a full slate upcoming. We are not going to be live on the P1 Broadcasting Network either tomorrow or Saturday, as we're going to be helping out some other partners. But starting Sunday, we are going to go 6 days in a row, Sam, and that's going to start with the votive IndyCar Series broadcast on Sunday night. So tune those guys in. I will be in that race. Do want to thank everybody else, Sam, yourself, our founder Gary Godso. We also want to thank our friends in the military, the police, the fire department, the firefighters, the EMS, all of the people that do the hard jobs at night so that we can sleep safely.
Very grateful. Very grateful.
In our beds, we are most certainly grateful. Sam, don't party too hard tomorrow night.
Mark, as always, it's a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And
Don't-
thank you for all you do. We appreciate you.
Don't party too hard tomorrow night, Sam. We are off. We will see you 7 days from today. Same time, same bad channel, Sam.
Take them belts off.